Okay. Okay. Hello, my name is Morgan Richardson. I'm going to be talking about the study habits and academic performance among TSU students. That is what my study is going to be about. That study explores the relationship between the study habits and academic performance and stress levels of TSU students by analyzing study hours, methods, GPA, perceived stress. I'm aiming to provide insights for students and educators. So the introduction is going to be the student balancing act. College students, particularly at TSU, navigate a complex landscape of academic demands, work, social life, and personal commitments. These competing priorities often shape diverse study habits directly impacting academic performance and stress levels. Not everybody has the same schedule or the same, time to do things, so some people do what works for them. And understanding these behaviors is crucial for students to make informed decisions about time management and coursework approaches, fostering both success and well-being. The purpose of this study is study hours and GPA. Is there a relationship between weekly study hours and GPA, study methods and performance? How do different study methods, like alone or groups, affect academic performance? And then study time and stress. Is increased study time associated with higher academic stress? So this research is going to aim to answer the questions, offering insights for students, academic advisors, and university support programs to promote effective strategies and balance. So, methodology, data collection. So, the survey design was structured and distributed to 120 TSU students via online platforms and direct outreach. Participation was voluntary and anonymous to ensure honest reporting. The demographics were age, gender, and classification. Study habits were weekly hours, preferred methods, whether it was like an alone or group method, academic performance, which are self-reported GPA ranges, and then stress levels, a 5 point Likert chart. So basically like what point they were going to fit within, whether it was like 1, which was like the lowest, 5 being the highest. And this diverse sample represented various majors, class levels, and genders, provided a broad view of TSU student behaviors. So the statistical analysis is a descriptive statistics summarize demographic data and study habits using frequency distributions, mean, median, and mode variance. Um, and standard deviation. The inferential techniques for correlation analysis examined relationships between study hours, GPA, and stress. Hypothesis testing determined the significance of the relationships, and with these methods, it helped identify meaningful patterns and relationships within student study behaviors. So my key findings in demographics and study habits were that the participant overview, which was 120 students, gender 60% female, 40% male, and the classification was evenly distributed, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, etc., all that. And the age mean was 21.4 years old, the median was 21, and then the mode was 20. Um, which was reflecting a traditional undergraduate population, the average age for a college student. And the study hours per week ranged from 4 to 25. The mean was 12.6, median was 12 hours, and then mode was 10 hours. So the variability moderate 4.5 hours. So my key findings were the preferences and performance, which were studying alone was the most preferred method. Group study was the second most common. Combined methods utilized by a significant portion were the third most, and then the least was online resources for study methods. Independent studying appears to be the most accessible or practical approach for many TSU students. I know myself, I prefer to study alone. I know with like group settings for me, I do tend to get a little distracted, but it does depend on the person and how they learn and intake information. Academic performance and stress levels. So the self-reported GPA ranges were, as we could see right here, the largest proportion would have been a 3.0 to a 3.49, which actually I fall in that category, which was 36.6%, and the lowest being below a 2.5 was 15%. But as we could see, we also have 2.5 to 2.99, 26.7%, which is the second most, and the third most being 3.5 to 4.0, which is 21.7. So respondents generally showed strong academic performance, but with that, the academic stress levels were mean stress level 3.5 or 3.6 out of 5, and then the most frequent being 4. I know for me, I'm probably a 4 or 5. So, yep. But those are the statistics, and this suggests moderate to high perceived academic stress among TSU students. So the comparative and inferential analysis, study hours and GPA. Students studying 10 hours or less a week were more likely to have, or 10 hours or more, were more likely to have a GPA of 3.0 or moderate, so positive correlation. Study methods and GPA, combined study methods linked to higher GPAs than relying solely on group study. And study hours and stress, weak to moderate positive correlation, suggesting increased study time may contribute to stress. And as we can see, we have the statistics listed. Hypothesis testing confirmed a meaningful relationship between study time and academic performance. So the conclusion and future directions, my key takeaways from this study was increased study time correlates with higher GPA. Also, flexible combined study strategies appear more effective. The limitations, however, were reliance on self-reported data, which is a potential bias, and limited to TSU students, which is generalization. But my future study could expand sample size, incorporate longitudinal data, and examine factors like employment, course difficulty, or access to resources to further refine our understanding of student access and well-being. But yeah, that is the end of my slideshow and the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to my statistics project, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.